Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Sales Growth Club TV show. I'm Chris and I'm here with Steve.
Hi Chris, hi everybody.
How are you doing?
Awesome.
Excellent. Are you enjoying talking about growth management?
I love it. I love it.
This is the bit, isn't it, where, as we mentioned last week, where it all comes to life. Everything people have done and all the stuff they've listened to us over the last few months is now coming to life.
Well, it used to be one of my favourite things, leading sales teams and now helping business owners, is helping them see the positivity in meaningful sales targets. But I know that's not the subject of this TV show.
No, this week it's all about the frustrations, because there is some.
Yeah.
And it happens. You think setting meaningful targets, great. I'll set a target, I'll set a goal, and I'll just drive forwards and hit it.
Yeah.
But there's so many speed bumps, isn't there?
There can be.
It can be so frustrating. Something so simple, like this month I need to hit this amount. Of course I'll do it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about frustrations.
Yeah.
And the first one, the most obvious one, how do I set a meaningful target?
Well, this is the right place to start. It's the right question, because the word that jumps out is meaningful. And whatever you're doing in terms of setting targets in your business, that's the one place. Is this meaningful? Is it achievable, but is it meaningful? And there is a difference. And I tell you why. I remember the story. I must have told you this. Maybe you've heard it before. But there was a sales manager, will remain nameless, when I used to work for Shell. And we used to sell industrial lubricants. And I was responsible for the power sector. And one day, a power plant, well, it wasn't one day, we knew it was going to happen. The power plant shut down. Power plant. They use loads of industrial lubricants because they're big things. And I said to my boss, this has got to come out of my targets because I have no control about it. He says, you have control about it. Go and find another one. Now, you can't just stumble upon a power station that is going to be ready to say, yes, please, Steve, come and sell me lubricants. They are in a contract. Yeah. They are part of a development program.
It's not like if I want at a network meeting, is it?
Exactly. So my whole rest of the year was predicated by being totally disconnected to my target because it wasn't meaningful. In reality, what I learned from that was just take it out. Take it out and find other ways, maybe smaller incremental steps in other sectors that could help you reach and beat your goal, but don't blindly go after it. So speed bumps, yes, but be realistic about how you deal with them.
Can I ask, did you get another power plant?
No. No, I didn't.
Did you have any feeling at all you were going to?
No, I knew I wouldn't. And actually, there's the other problem. I didn't believe it. So I didn't believe it, therefore I couldn't connect to it.
Weirdly, that brings us on to another frustration, is targets sometimes change the way you do business and the way you believe that your business should be.
Yeah.
So like if your target is money, sometimes you go gung-ho at the sales and you forget about the ethos.
Yeah.
How do you avoid that? Again, is it meaningful? Is it setting the meaningful targets?
I mean, we had quite a lot of conversation a month or so back in the free group about salespeople, sales behaviours. And there was an interesting thread that came up about how helpful are targets sometimes if they just drive a result. If they're just driving and that result is purely a financial gain to earn my bonus. And I get that. And we see that a lot in B2C, don't we? Business to consumer, the way that we are, the cold calling industry works. And I think that's driven by targets that are set top down from a balance sheet perspective, and that drives a behaviour. One of the advantages we have as smaller business owners is that we have the chance to bring our own, as you called it, ethos, but our purpose into our business. And I think finding that balance between how the results help us drive not only the income that we need to survive, but in the right places with the right people. And that's where the ideal prospect, ideal client piece comes in, making sure that you're networking in the right place, all the stuff we did in the previous piece. So finding that balance is important, and it's something you have more control of as a business owner than you do as if you're employed by somebody, I think.
So you're kind of saying that, you know, sometimes your goals and your targets shouldn't just be set about financial. You know, they should be set about things that matter to you.
Well, I mean, it's totally right. And I mean, and sorry, I mean, second mention of Shell, which I'm surprised has come up in the TV show. But when I used to set the bonus scheme for Shell, one of the things that I added into that was behaviour. So it was, not only was it performance, but it was the behaviour. Am I doing this the right way? And if you overlay our own businesses on that, results and how we do things is actually all about how we want to be remembered. It's how we want to be perceived, how we're going to find our next client, isn't it? By our reputation.
Yeah.
So just the number for the number's sake isn't right. And I think there should always be that couching or balancing with the advantage we have as smaller businesses, that we can bring our personalities and our real ethos, as you called it earlier, into our target setting.
Another frustration, you know, we talked a lot about making sure that we set the meaningful targets right, and we bring our ethos into it and everything like that. What happens when we don't hit our targets and we lose enthusiasm?
Well, motivation is a big part. I told you when the power plant shut down and I was told to go and find another one, I didn't connect to it. And that's important.
Just quickly, when that happened, do you think it's because the people above you just saw numbers?
Yeah, I genuinely do. I genuinely do. And I think it was bad sales management as well.
They didn't consider your mindset about not being able to hit it.
Yeah, and 20 years ago, that perhaps was more the DNA of a sales manager. Well, now I think a DNA of anybody that runs a business or a sales manager is more cognizant, more conscious of the individual being an asset that they need to develop, grow and protect, versus just sweat and leverage and get a result from. So I think motivation is a massive part in target setting. And this is why sometimes having a target that's too ambitious is detrimental. But actually on the flip side, something that's far too easy isn't motivating, and it can drive your behaviour, right? So I'm going to stay in bed because I've hit the number, or I'm stressed and I feel ill and I've got to get out, and to hell with the consequences, I'm going to get that number. There is, just by me giving those two polar ends, somewhere right in the middle that's the happy land.
Admittedly, our long-term goals are set very reasonable and meaningful. You know, they're goals in which we believe we can achieve. Sometimes a short-term one, I will set high. So I'll set it massively high that I probably won't ever hit, but I know if I can even come close to it, then we've achieved something.
What did they say? Shoot for the
stars or something.
And hit the moon or something like that. Yeah. And I buy that. And I do think some stretch is good. Some level of stress is good. You know, there's no point starting off with, I want to sell one. You know, because again, tie it back to your business plan. The frustration might be that, you know, the business plan is wrong. Yeah. Not the target.
Just quickly, I just want to come back to what you said about how you set your targets and then being meaningful and results driven. And how do you find the balance between hitting your numbers or whatever the target is to your personal development?
Yeah, I mean, this is really important. So when I do the Sales Growth Club Live on growth management, one of the slides that I put up there is business goals, personal development goals equals business results. And I firmly believe that you've got to find that balance. You've got to find that balance. And in a busy world, that might be difficult, right? Because we're all sat at home at 9 o'clock at night, maybe quoting or, you know, or thinking about the next day's plans. I get all of that. And it is about time management. It is about discipline. But I always advocate, and always have done, anybody that's ever worked for me, that they take at least half a day, if not a day a month, where they just sit down and it's all about them. It's about their learning, their development, their reading. I mean, think about seminars, think about workshops. You know, the Sales Growth Club Live is an example. That's an investment in yourself to gain more skills to deliver business results. So just by that example, that's what I'm talking about, finding the time. And there are business owners that will never find the time because they're just too busy. But there are those business owners that will always find the time because they see that value and that equation working out. I mean, just think about the richness of spending time on your personal development the ease and efficiency and effectiveness of achieving the target has got to increase, right? If you're finding the connection between personal development and my business. I mean, fine, learn how to fly a glider, but that's not going to help you sell more.
Yeah. So, what are your frustrations? Let us know what your frustrations are. We've been through quite a few there. We actually originally had 4 wrote down, but I think we covered quite a few more, which is good. It allows you to understand more frustrations, and it allows us to talk about frustrations that we've experienced in our careers. But do let us know what frustrations you have. It'd be great to know. So put it in the comments below. Let us know the frustrations. And Steve obviously can get back to you with some help and guidance. And remember, use the group. Use the Sales Growth Club group as well. That is what it's there for. But from us two here, that's all we got time for this week. Covering frustrations. We are going to be back next week to talk about the results. Talk about the results you should be expecting with setting meaningful targets and goals. But from us here, thank you so much. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.